Acceptance. I wrote that down. When you were going to ask how my week was, I was going to say I'm having a week of acceptance, but I feel like I'm in a bit of a storm of acceptance at the moment. I just feel like I'm out on top of a hill, on the edge of a cliff, with lots of wind howling at us. I feel like, yeah, I've just got to accept this storm at the moment. I'm not really pissed with it or anything. I don't feel, I'm not in a miserable mood. I'm just, I think I don't subscribe to stress, but like an ulcer on my tongue, my ears a bit sore, and the symptoms of being a bit run down. I feel a bit of that, and I think when you're a bit like that, it's just harder to accept some truths, isn't it? Truths that maybe we're not going to be back to a normality or what we were doing before all of this for some time.
That acceptance word, that's like struck a chord with me there, because I feel like this, you've put it nicely. I like this. Though, you see those films where the man is taking the woman shopping and she keeps putting things on him and he's like piling up, you can't see his face anymore.
Yeah.
But he's doing it because he's being polite, he's being a gentleman and all the rest of it. That's kind of where I've got to, where I've just now got too much and I'm dropping it on the floor. I'm saying I've had enough. Where I'm just going, okay, that's fine. Yep, okay, that's fine. Yep, all right, I understand why we're doing that. Yep, that's fine. And now I've just gone, you know what? It's not fine. I've had enough. I'm putting it down. I've thrown my toys out of the pram.
I went to town last week and got a new hairdo for those that can't see it. And I managed to get in on the very first one. Good connection. Shout out to the salon in the County Mall. We got us in there quick. But man, how to put it? I had to have a recovery after coming back from town. As in, I don't like going to town at the best of times. I don't ever go to town at the weekend because it's town. And it was just ugly. It was really, really ugly and just really weird. Like, I think we mentioned it the other day, the queue to Primark, for instance. Like, all good. I'm not judging, but I'm not spending the queue was up and down. It was at least half a mile, I would say, this queue. No word of a lie. And what are you going to get in there for the time spent to go in there? It's like, and I just found it all just a little bit weird and really, weirded out. And it took me a little while to recover from that town visit. And the way everyone was kind of, it wasn't different because it was just busy, lots of people, but it was different. No one was following the ins and outs and the roundabouts and everything else. And then you've got someone that's like climbing the walls with a face mask on, trying to stay away from it. Yeah, it was just really weird.
Well, we were talking last week, weren't we, about the areas we felt we were recessing in, and you talked about like social interaction and all of that. And I think that's part of it, isn't it? Is you go out now into the world and it's a bit funny, and then it just makes you want to go home. You're just like, I just want to go back to my little world where things make a bit more sense. And it's interesting you said about the people in Primark about their time. I think people are just trying to waste time. I think people are just bored, and they just think, well, it's something to do. It's somewhere to be for the day, rather than thinking, what can I do with all this time? They're just like, that'll kill a few hours standing in a queue.
I'm thinking you're wasting my bloody time because I've got to walk around you socially distanced now. You're wasting my time. Get out of the way. That's what I was thinking. Hey, my time's too precious. I'm wasting my time walking around you, wasting your time.
Yeah, just burning it, trying to burn the hours.
I don't know if it's relevant, but like when we were talking earlier, I don't think it's that bad, but like we were talking about, the martial arts, for instance, and places where you hire and such like not being able to open until September, and we're in, only at the start of July. But it did make me think, and it is something that as I've got older, I've pondered on, but never really spoken to anyone about, is, let's say you're on one's knees or something isn't kind of working, and then this whole turning your energy elsewhere, like it might have been just, figure of speech, but you said like, is, for instance, it's a bit different in a business sense of having all your chickens, all your eggs in one basket, but it's this whole, I'm a strong believer in staying true to you. rather than jumping around all the time. Am I making any sense with any of that? Maybe you
Yes.
clear that up.
Yeah, no, you're making loads of sense. And I think that's what a lot of us can say we're struggling with right now, because our sense of ourself is being put into question in a lot of ways, because a lot of people are either out of work or not able to do the things that they enjoy. And it seems to be for, we can not, maybe let's not say the foreseeable future, but for a long while, things aren't going to be what they were, and maybe they never go back to what they were. So it's time for change. And change, I think, whilst good, can be difficult. I think going through a period of change, and it's just how you respond to it.
Yeah,
So
I mean it more from the point of like that's completely it, but also I mean it more from the point of you. Let's try and draw a scenario. Like for instance, a beginner in our sport. You know, our sport is unforgiving. It's like a 2 minute round, or even less sometimes. It's a short window of success and failure. And they might have been training at that dojo. They might be kicking everyone in the head and feeling really, really awesome. They go to a competition and then they meet someone that's just better than them, more experienced and everything else. And it's like, it puts them on their knees, you know, they get 10 clear, they get completely wiped out. And it's like, they had all of that abundance of great and awesomeness. And it's like, oh no, I'm going to go do something else instead now. I don't think that's the answer, is what I'm saying. It's like if you've got something that's really good. So say, for instance, right now, a business or whatever is been really good for you and everything else. It's like, is it the right thing? Just because you're on your knees because of the situation, to turn to another thing, to be able to say, oh no, I should be doing that instead. Because are you not only going to be doing the same thing eventually with something else? And it always looks greener on the other side, in the sense you can look at someone else, and just through perception, we've talked about it, just through perception of social media and things like that, it looks better to be doing that. Yeah, if you are in their shoes, it's not.
It's got its own set of problems.
Which is the same problems, and probably the owner is thinking the same things. Oh man, I wish I was doing the martial arts next door, because clearly they're on doing it. And do you get where I'm coming at now? I've thought about this quite a few times, and especially with people in the sport, what we do, coming and going, and my own direction on different things.
I guess just to play devil's advocate so we can have a conversation about it, I would say, yes, I agree with you. But let's say, for example, that you're just doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Is it right to stick with something because you should stick with it, but it's just not the right thing for you? You are destined, or you are meant to be doing something else. And the situation has arose that's now, whether it's provided you the opportunity or it's forced your hand to change a position on something.
But where's the line of change of that?
That's the tricky part, isn't it?
How long do you go doing something? How long do you start something, continue something, fail at something before it's over? But I remember seeing a really good meme. Cece's really into memes, and there's this guy digging this huge tunnel with a pickaxe looking for gold, and then the next
just before it, right?
Yeah, and he's walking off track. Yeah. That's always what sits with me.
Yeah. Well, that's really true. There was a great metaphor I heard, that it's like a guy who's trying to make a pot out of clay, and he's trying to warm up the clay to then be able to work with it and get it to do it. And he says, in an instant, in any moment, that clay will become workable, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So from 1 second to the next, it will change from being something very stringent and just has no give, to letting you manipulate it and shape it. But the second you give up, if you stop thinking it's just not going to happen, you go back to zero. So it's not the case of you can then just pick up where you left off. You stop, and that's going to mean that you're going all the way back to the cold clay, and you've got to warm it all the way back up. And you never know how close you were to breaking through. You never know, like you said, with the pickaxe, you don't know how close you are to the gold on the other side if and when you stop.